Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, December 20th. The weather pattern looks to be getting very interesting for the next couple of weeks here in the eastern U.S. We're turning a little bit colder today, seasonal cold today and tomorrow. Then we turn milder again Friday, and especially for the day on Saturday. That warm up at the end of the week into the early part of the weekend will be accompanied by some rainfall, especially Friday night and Saturday. There could even be a touch of a light rain on Friday that could start as a little bit of freezing rain way up in the northern suburbs of Philadelphia and all the way north to the suburbs of New York City. But again, the bulk of the rain coming at the end of the week, Friday night and Saturday, certainly will be with temperatures way above freezing. In fact, temperatures on Saturday could climb towards the 60-degree mark in D.C., well up in the 50s in Philadelphia and New York City. However, it's at that point that a cold frontal system will slide through the eastern U.S. The colder pattern will begin on Sunday, Christmas Eve. There are signs that another storm, a second storm, will form along that boundary zone during the latter part of the week and could throw some more precipitation our way Sunday into Monday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, perhaps even with a changeover of rain to snow. And then later next week, there's probably going to be an even better chance at some snow, perhaps even significant snow. We're talking about Friday or so, December 29th. Long way away, still speculation stage, but I love the setup that seems to be headed our way for the end of next week. This is the ensemble run of the GFS from last night. We're looking at 5-day average mean 850 millibar temperature anomalies just to see how we change from the current relatively warm pattern right through Saturday to a colder pattern that again really gets underway Sunday, Christmas Eve, and continues for the most part right into the early, perhaps even the middle part of January. This is the average 850 millibar temperature anomaly for the current 5-day period. Let's just move forward. This will be days 2 to 6. Notice the warmer conditions, above normal conditions, starting to retreat here off the southeast coastline, and this wall of cold headed slowly south and east. It's spreading as we move forward here. Now this is now the days 4 to 8, basically December 23rd to December 28th, the average for that time period. And relative to normal, the core of this Arctic intrusion will be across the northern plains, but slowly spreading south and east, so that by the middle part of next week, virtually the entire northern half of the nation will be well below normal here. We may have temperatures at or below freezing for highs here in the I-95 corridor by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Let's just keep moving forward here. Days 7 to 11, days 8 to 12, and continuation. A little bit of a retreat maybe of the colder air relative to normal, but that'll just be filled in by reinforcing cold air. And now we're looking into the early part of January. And again, it looks to me like once this pattern gets underway, starting around Sunday here in the Mid-Atlantic region, Christmas Eve, December 24th, it looks like it'll continue right through the first week of January, maybe even to the middle part of the month. Well, let's now walk through the surface maps from the 6Z GFS model run. All of these maps, by the way, from tropicaltidbits.com. Again, colder air is pushed back into the I-95 corridor this morning. Temperatures will hold relatively steady for the next several hours. The high temperatures are pretty much already reached for the day. This is only seasonal chill, a moderate cold air mass for the next couple of days. Let's move forward. There's a lot of rain down in the south. It stays to the south of the D.C. to New York City corridor. And then chilly day, but dry and sunny on Thursday. And here we go. There's a little bit of a concern here. A little bit of light precipitation may make it all the way into, let's say, east central Pennsylvania, suburbs of New York City by very late Thursday night into early Friday morning. May just be cold enough for a little bit of freezing rain, especially over the Poconos, maybe the suburbs of New York City, maybe the extreme far northern suburbs of Philadelphia early Friday morning. Then it turns milder later Friday, maybe a shower, Some rain starts to move in Friday night. And all this is associated with an advancing cold front from the north and west. That cold air first plunges into the northern plains by the early part of the weekend and slowly spreads to the south and east. Low pressure forms along that boundary zone. Very impressive boundary zone between the retreating warmer air to the south and east and the advancing colder air to the north and west. A decent rainfall coming our way here in the I-95 corridor Friday night and Saturday. Again, mild ahead of the front on Saturday. 55 perhaps in Philadelphia, 60 in D.C. But that rain event will usher in a cold frontal passage, and the colder pattern gets underway here. This is now Sunday morning. Colder air starting to move in. It doesn't flood into the area. It kind of filters into the area, but it is a pattern-changing type of cold frontal passage by Sunday, Christmas Eve, December 24th. Then we'll have to watch. Signs are that another storm will form in this boundary zone that will be a little farther south and east now by the time Sunday night. This is Christmas Eve night. Low pressure off the coast. Colder air again filtering in. There's a chance that this will be a little bit more impressive than what the GFS is indicating. In fact, the European model has a little bit stronger solution here, and I tend to favor that stronger solution for this coastal low. So the bottom line is colder air comes in on Sunday. More precipitation is likely, and that could be a rain changing to snow type of event from Sunday into Monday. And then once we get by Christmas Day, we're in the cold air. It certainly will be quite cold by Tuesday and Wednesday. Very, very powerful, strong, high pressure will dive into the middle part of the nation by the early and middle part of next week. And that high pressure system ultimately, and here's starting to show up here by a Tuesday night of next week, that high pressure system could move all the way across the country, really set the stage here. Let's just keep moving forward here in the GFS. And by the time late next week rolls around, we have a very impressive looking pattern for the potential for some decent snow, maybe even a significant snow event at the end of next week we're talking about here. Very strong and cold high pressure to the north and northwest. You know, oftentimes I like to see a banana-shaped high where there's high pressure extending from the north all the way to the northwest and even to the west. And this has the possibility of setting up just that way. And lots of moisture here down in the southern states with cold air in place here. Again, this is for the end of next week, December 29th, thereabouts, Friday of the end of next week. But before we get there, we have a mild day on Saturday with some rain. Colder air starts to move in on Sunday, turns colder for Sunday and Monday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And there's a chance for another coastal storm to form in that retreating boundary zone, throwing some precipitation our way from Sunday into Monday. It could be rain changing to snow, then quite cold by the middle of next week, and then we'll have to watch for the potential for snow at the end of next week. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Orion.